everybody, it's Stacie Duffy here, your Denver Metro real estate resource. And for this video, I wanted to talk about things to know when you're pricing your home to sell. So different factors that factor in what price you should list your property at. So obviously, first and foremost, call your realtor, your trusted realtor advisor, and talk to them. Ask them questions and get their advice. But they should be asking you at least a couple of these, hopefully all four, plus more. But these are four things I think are really important. So first thing, motivation. First and foremost, how bad do you need to sell? The lower you price your property compared to what the market value, roughly would show to be, would suggest that you can sell your house faster, right? You want to price it higher, it's probably going to take a little bit longer. Depends on market situation, the property specifics, all that kind of stuff. But motivation is key. How bad do you want to sell and how fast do you need to move? Second is comps. And that's the typical one that most people think of that all realtors, God, I hope all realtors use, but all realtors should use as a reference point. So and when we say comps, we mean comparable properties. So whether that be, and they may be in the immediate neighborhood, they may not. You can go a little bit further out for some comps if that is, what your buyers would be shopping against. If they're shopping in 2 or 3 very similar trendy areas, maybe you can go a little bit further because that's your comparable market. But what are the comps selling for? If your neighbor's house is exactly like yours, which I know it's not, but if it was, why would yours sell for $50,000 more? Why? That doesn't make any sense. If someone could buy your neighbor's house for that price, why would they pay more for yours if it's the same property? So you have to realize your home is worth what someone is willing to pay for it, not what it is worth in your head, because that doesn't help anybody, and it certainly doesn't help you move and get on to whatever your next goal is. Make sure to keep that in mind. When your motivation comes up, keep whatever the end goal is in mind, okay? So first thing, motivation. Second thing, comps. Third thing, showing statistics. So this is something a lot of realtors don't use, and some do, which is great. Personally, before I'm going to price a home, I'm always going to look at what the showing statistics are for something in that price range. Hey, sorry, I got a phone call, so I had to pause and come back. So now my camera's probably moved, and I have to figure out where I was. But anyway, showing stats. So when I'm pulling up showing statistics for pricing a home, I'm going to pull up the showing stats for that zip code typically, and a couple zip codes around it, but that market area for different price brackets, because I want to make sure that we are not pricing a home in the bracket and nobody looks at it. So the common ones that everyone thinks of are, okay, you want to price below 250 or below 300 or below 400 or 500, whatever, because the typical 100 mark or 50 mark or 25,000 mark seems to be just a natural cutoff of a budget for people, right? However, that's not always the case. And sometimes I've actually been surprised by something that may show a little bit different than that. So, but I do know that, in the 400,000 price range, if we're talking about price with the seller and we're looking at 395 or 405, a lot more people are going to look at something at 395 than at 405. So yeah, there's $10,000 difference there, but you may get a lot more people looking at the house that may, in a seller's market, bid up to a higher price or something like that, and you get a lot more traffic. So it depends on what your priorities are. Obviously, we talked about motivation, but showing statistics is good to know. You don't want to price your house in a price range that no one is looking or that much less people are looking. Obviously, the more people that you can get to see it, most likely the better off it's going to sell. And then the last thing is appraisal. So you have to be aware that most people are going to get a loan when they are going to buy your home. If it's something where it's cash only or hard money loans or something, that's kind of a different scenario. But for the majority of people are going to get a loan when they buy the home. Most lenders are going to require that their appraisal company or appraisal management company or whoever their contact is that they have approved to appraise properties goes and does an independent appraisal on the home, and that it appraises for the purchase price. So just because you priced a home, the market says it can support this or whatever, if it's a rapidly appreciating market, you have to take appraisals into concern, because it can't sell for more than it'll appraise unless someone is going to bring the difference in cash, which is where, standing out in multiple offer strategies, I've talked about appraisal gap coverage. But you have to understand what your house would likely appraise for and take that into consideration when pricing your home, not just what the market conditions are. Obviously, the sold comps is a big part of what the appraiser is going to look at in justifying value, but something to be aware of and ask your realtor about okay, well, I know the comps, the active comps out there are priced at 450, the sold comps are at 420. Even if we listed at 450, would it appraise for that? Or are we going to run into issues later where we just have to drop the price because the appraisal didn't come in? So something to be aware of. But those are the 4 things. So motivation, comps, showing stats, and appraisal. So there's other things in there, obviously, condition, upgrades, all that kind of stuff. Those are 4 big things I definitely think you need to take into concern when pricing your home. So if you found this helpful and you want to check out some more videos, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Also, you can leave questions, comments, concerns down below. Always happy to take a look at those. And you can always reach out to me directly if you have any more questions. My contact information is on my website. Link for that is down below in the description. So thanks so much for the time, guys. Have a great day.